Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Afternoon, Dan Proft, and with me is Pat Hughes, co-founder of the Illinois Opportunity Project, on this special edition of Illinois Rising, covering the special session that Governor Rauner called to try and get something resembling a constitutionally balanced budget. And the question is, with or without tax increases, with or without spending reductions, with or without any of the structural reforms the governor campaigned on and has spent the last 2 years talking about. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Give us a call as to your position on the governor's position, which is an openness to a income and corporate income tax increase in exchange for temporary property tax relief. Breaking a promise to get the income tax rate down to 3% by the end of his first term, going in the other direction, putting it back just about where it was when Pat Quinn was the governor. Here's what the Illinois electorate is saying, just to inform you, to think about the politics of this a little bit, in addition to the policy implications. Illinois Policy Institute commissioned a study that was done by Fabrizio Lee, which is a national Republican polling firm, well-respected, been the pollster for many a president, including the incumbent president of the United States. Worked for the National Republican Senate Campaign Committee, National Republican Congressional Campaign Committee. This is a pollster that knows what they're doing. Here's the bottom line. In terms of support for an all-cuts, no tax increase budget, Republicans, 70%. Republican support for cuts plus tax hikes, 24%. 70 to 24 among your base, all cuts. Interestingly, 38% of Democrats, self-identified Democrats, all cuts. 44% of independents, all cuts, no tax increases. Now, since the governor is going to get 85 to 95% of Republican, self-identified Republican voters that turn out in 2018 to vote for him, just because he'll be less worse than the Democrat nominee, at minimum. Boy, I tell you what, that percentage of Republicans plus that percentage of Democrats, more than 1 in 3, plus basically a wash on independents, that reelects Governor Rauner. And it also elects a bunch of new Republican state legislators to replace Democrat state legislators. And actually, the numbers are even better when you dig into them than I'm indicating. Once you explain to people what the tax climate is like in Illinois comparatively, so for example, the highest property taxes in the nation, the highest state and local tax burden combined in the nation. Once you start explaining to people and then the specifics of the tax increases proposed, listen to what happens. You have absolute majorities emerge for an all cuts, no tax increases, constitutionally balanced budget among these demographics: definite and probable voters, those concerned most about jobs, those concerned about the state budget impasse, those unaffected and affected by the state budget impasse, Republicans, conservatives, everyone over the age of 45, whites, blacks, men, women, all three major regions of the state. So the politics of this couldn't be more clear. This is not a close call, which is why the governor's position is all the more baffling. And if it is just a bluff to appear reasonable, to appear like here's a guy trying to cut a deal, to make a compromise arrangement, and it's Madigan who's the iconoclast and Madigan who's the obstructionist, and this is a way to make Madigan look worse so we can, as Republicans, use him more as an albatross in the 2018 cycle, that is a huge risk. And if Madigan puts it on his desk and he signs it, that's even a bigger risk based on these numbers that I just relayed.
Plus, Dan, it's a political mistake anyway, because they don't care. The voters you just referenced in the poll, they don't care about compromise. They don't care about bipartisanship. What they care about is not being taxed anymore. And the reason why those poll numbers are so strong is because the only people who benefit from Illinois government are the unions, particularly teachers unions, SEIU, and all those people, the trial lawyers, and Mike Madigan and his Democrat cronies. So, of course, you're going to get great poll numbers. And all Rauner needs to do is lead on this issue. There's a budget plan in place that can get the budget balanced without any tax increases, McConkey and McCarter. Now,
here's the bottom line. Here's what people are saying, though, just the takeaway. Let's just bottom line this, one sentence. Illinois families in the private sector, which is 95% of them, are saying this. Either I cannot afford more taxes that will force me out of the state even if I don't want to leave, or I maybe could afford them. I maybe be open to them, but since I don't trust you to spend my money how you promised to spend it, how I think it should be spent, the hell with you. I'm not going to be fleeced and then scammed. That's why you have more than a third of self-identified Democrats saying all cuts budget. Let's get a couple calls in real quick. Adam in Rock Island, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, great show, guys.
Thank you.
As a Republican, who's advising the governor? That's what I want to know.
Well, he's got, an inner circle of people. Rich Goldberg is his chief of staff. A guy named Mike Zolnarevich is his political director, for lack of a better description. His wife is very involved, Diana. That's the kind of the inner circle. Thanks for the call, Adam. We're going to take more of your calls. I promise we're going to get to your calls now. Pat and I are done bloviating for a moment or two. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Taking more of your calls right after this.